Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. It was a request in chat that I got the other night, and it was to make a video talking about the underrated cards from the Boomsday expansion. And I ended up doing some research on it, and I actually had some pretty surprising results. So I wanted to share these with you. It's important to know what these cards are, that they exist, because they're cards that are not played very much right now. And there are cards that, with any kind of positive synergistic influence in the future, or just, week by week, if there's maybe a new deck on top, there might be a new tool in these underrated cards to combat that. It's very good to keep these cards in mind. These cards are very powerful standalone cards. They're just very good overall, but they're not seeing quite the play of, what you might expect in the top tier decks. This selection is largely an understanding of stats, but largely a comparison by the play win rate. So when these cards are played, how often do you win? Both taking stats from Constructed and Arena, because Arena is a game mode that doesn't have a lot of synergy. And you need to understand these. So, for example, the number one win rate on played card is Mechathune. Right? But is Mechathune really that good? No. It's because when you play Mechathune, you do it because you have the combo, so you win the game. So that's why, the Mechathune play win rate is totally ridiculously high. So cards like that, cards like, the new Priest, Topsy-Turvy, whatever, cards that support the Mechathune combo, those have way, way abnormal win rates when played. So, we don't want to look at that. We just want to look at standalone cards that don't belong to a combo, that don't really have that much synergy to begin with, and cards that are not played very much right now. And the list will actually surprise you. Some of these cards are pushing almost 60% win rate on play, and some of these have no synergistic effect whatsoever, which is really mind-blowing. It basically proves the power level of these cards is really high. They're just kind of like misfits right now, but the state of Hearthstone right now is not going to be the state of Hearthstone a month, 2 months, 3 months, and certainly not in the upcoming expansion. So what do we got? These are in order, my order at least, a little bit subjective. Mechanical Whelp is my fifth on the top 5 most underrated cards. I know it sees some play in some of the Death Rattle decks, but the card is one of the highest played win rate cards in Arena, and let me tell you, there is no Death Rattle synergy in Arena. It's a card that's very good as a result of hard removal just generally being too slow. Aggro decks are fast enough that control decks can't afford to play hard removal, so a card like Mechanical Whelp basically gives you permanent board control, and that's really good. Anytime you can splash in a little bit of Death Rattle synergy in whatever you're playing, Mechanical Whelp is going to perform very well, and in Arena it's just going to perform very well as a standalone card. But honestly, you might know that, because you might have played some of the Death Rattle decks that include the card. You know how powerful this card is. You may have played against the card. But some of the other cards we have, fourth on the list, Meteorologist. How about that, right? So obviously the high win rate is largely based on the fact that a lot of people are playing aggressive decks, but this card's win rate is extraordinarily high. It's just, I think Control Mage doesn't have quite the tools to keep up with most of the aggro decks on a regular basis, but, well, if it does, and I think there's even some wiggle room in the meta for this deck to work out, this card's power level is extremely high. Getting that, very efficient, ping board clear into having board control with a minion is the complete game turnaround that is very difficult to achieve playing really anything, but particularly the mage. Mages have very good board clears, but they just cost a lot of mana, so it's very difficult to play stuff while you board clear. So, if your opponent's about to kill you and you have a flame strike and you kill like 7 minions and you're patting yourself on the back, at the end of the day, if you don't play anything while you do that, while you play the flame strike, then your opponent's going to play more stuff and you're going to need like another board clear to deal with that stuff. So that's why these cards that have like kind of board clears but actually, push you on the board, those cards are surprisingly effective in Hearthstone. Third on the list is Omega Agent. Both in Arena and in Constructed, this card's win rate is insane. It's one of the highest win rate cards. There's really no combo to it. It might be skewed in the stats a little bit because, if you made it to turn 10 and, most people are playing aggro, so if you made it to turn 10 against aggro, there's, decent likelihood that they ran out of steam, that you held off their push anyway. So I understand the percentage is skewed a little bit, but with the card showing a similar on-play win rate in Arena, that kind of turns that argument around. The card is just really insane. It's just competing for, the slot in Warlock with the combo control options and the extremely powerful zoo options. It's just that mid-range is kind of dead right now. I don't know what it will take. Maybe some kind of like Keliseth effect that gives all the minions in your deck taunt or something like that. But just a little bit of a push to make those cards more immediately useful in the deck, I think is going to make Omega Agent one of the most powerful cards in the entire game. It's literally on the fringe of that right now. It just needs like one card to support it, and then you have that synergy required for the Constructed crazy power level play. So yes, it is a very good standalone card. I actually ended up picking the card my first time in Arena, ended up going 12 wins in that run very easily, and many of the wins was as a result of the tempo generated from playing this card, typically alongside with a board clear. Again, very similar to the other card I just mentioned. So it's a very powerful effect to be able to clear the board and push on the board in a big way on the same turn. Then we have Astromancer. Astromancer is seemingly not that good of a card, but the play win rates say otherwise. You have extremely high play win rates. This is a 7 drop. This is not like a 10 drop. Most aggro, most zoo decks typically will not clean you out by that time if you're playing a control deck. So it's not like, oh, you made a turn X, you probably already won that game. It's not really that. It's just a very, very good stat stick. And, the randomness is generally not a good thing, but it's way overstated for its mana cost. So most of the time it ends up being a very powerful board push. At the mana cost, it can be difficult to clear the board appropriately, but it seems to work. The stats speak for themselves. The card is very strong, and again, kind of coupled with the Meteorologist, whenever there's a little bit of a push to the meta favoring a control style mage, I think you're suddenly going to see a lot of people playing this pair of cards, particularly the Astromancer. And number 1 on this list is Supercollider. It's honestly the inspiration behind the list. This card is just crazy, okay? This card is near 60% area for on-play win rate, and it's turn 5, so it's clearly not a game you won already, and it's not a combo card, right? There's no combo with Supercollider unless you're giving your opponent like poisonous minions through the use of, I don't know, that dragon for 3 mana in the last expansion or some shit like that, right? There's no synergy for this card. It doesn't exist. It's just a completely ridiculous card, right? And I've been seeing that. I've had some really good results in Warrior Arena runs, and it's largely been on the back of this card. Supercollider, not only that, it plays against many of the common threats right now. It actually does a really good job and trades favorably in terms of value and almost for tempo against Giggling Inventor. If you hit one of the Annoyatrons, it'll hit the 2-1 in the middle and you hit the Divine Shield off. So, they play Giggling Inventor, you play Supercollider. They basically just played an Annoyatron, and you still have 2 durability left on your Supercollider. So favorable against Giggling Inventor, that's really, really impressive, right? This is what Supercollider does, and this is something that I think most of us who, kind of give you guys our thoughts, review these cards before they come out. The main thing that we miss with Supercollider is how drastically it affects your opponent's game plan. So it's, at face value, it's a pretty good card. It's like 6 out of 10. Maybe 7 out of 10. But here's what it does that we didn't really figure out. It makes it so your opponent has some really crappy turns ahead of him. So if your opponent has, no way to play around Supercollider, they just don't do anything. And if you're playing against a control warrior and you're not doing anything, you're going to lose most of the time. If you're playing against a control warrior and you're playing a large number of unnecessary minions to play around Supercollider, and you're like, oh yeah, I played around Supercollider. Well, warriors are pretty good at clearing large boards, so that's what they do. So they win that way as well. It's just a card that pushes your opponent to make really crappy plays. And that's the secret behind it. That's the secret sauce. And honestly, I think the card is so good that unless there's a heavy weapon removal meta, I think this card belongs in any warrior deck that's not face. I think it's that good. And I think we have already started seeing the card in a few odd warrior decks, but in my opinion, not enough of them. The card's crazy. And to end the clip, I want to give you guys a game so you guys can understand the true power level of the card, the disorientation, the crappy turn causing Supercollider. Enjoy the clip, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
First versus Warlock. I have a lot of 3s actually. I'm going to keep Supercollider though. Okay. This is kind of bad. Isn't that what happened with Cthulhu Warrior? Yes, but the intention for the first, like, 10 games of that deck was to win, because I actually thought the deck had a chance to be decent. It's just fucking terrible. I mean, they can't all be winners, right?
Take it. It's tasty.
But yeah, that's accurate. That's kind of what happened with that deck, yes.
Pass me that arc light scanner. Do I have to?
Jesus.
Hey, give me a minute.
I understand there's not much sense to the play, but I think there's value in the play being nonsense. Because this play is like, yo bro, I definitely have a board clear, I think.
Dark one snaps all.
No, he doesn't buy it, I guess.
Come, my pretty birds.
This may work.
Jim.
My power over you grows stronger yet.
Mr. Fight.
Yeah, I just could really use some more board clears.
Neither snow nor rain nor wind. Move!
Nice. That was a 50-50. We did have to get a little lucky there.
Nice to meet you.
Warpath, 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 Warpath.
Blast! A war
Warpath, please. I need Warpath. Okay, we got some Omega defense.
Ready to glow.
move!
not too bad. I'd call that manageable.
Almost out of time.
No more misplays, take your time. Isn't he dead? Alright, I'll take my time. I want to make sure that I get the right play down. Am I taking enough time yet? I think I have. Vegan BM. Yep. These cards are all pretty good, but we want that a little bit later. It's a priest, so I think it's fine. And if I play nothing on 2, Harvest Golem and then Coin of 5 should work out pretty well.
Someone called.
Yeah, let's just do this actually. He's playing that, he might be playing a more aggressive deck than I thought. Wait, he's trading? That's kind of weird. Okay. I have a feeling this is going to work out really well unless he has Holy Nova, in which case it will not work out very well. Wow. That really did not work out very well. Huh? The idea is, if he has a Cabal, whatever, and he steals it, it's actually an advantage that it has poison. I can manipulate the board well enough. If he doesn't have weapon removal, this will deter him from playing a big minion. And it doesn't look like he has many more small minions, so...
I am one with the candle.
Perfect. I'm gonna need you guys to stop using the easy emote, and I need you guys to start using the Krip easy emote. It's just way better, so please, if you will, thank you. This is really not that bad, because, I mean, if I play this, it still loses to Pain. And if he doesn't have Pain, then he can't play any medium-sized minion. It's just perfect for me. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't need any of you. Not welcome here.
Okay.
My power over you grows stronger yet.
No one understands how to play around my weapon. It's pretty funny, isn't it? Yeah, I think you're right. Dudes are getting Shrek'd right now. That's right. Shrek from the animated series is coming in and pooping on them.